Pocket Anime just might be one of the greatest games I've played on Roblox so far, and it's barely had its first testing phase a couple of days ago. I didn't know what to expect going into this experience, seeing how there was a huge gap between the first reveal trailer and the last trailer we received before testing started. There was definitely a lot of bugs that were pointed out by the testers, and the devs were on top of them, fixing most of the bugs in a timely manner. Now when it comes to the overall customization options, I feel like there was a decent amount of options to choose from, especially when it comes to a Roblox game. At first I was a little skeptical about the limited clothing options, but I found out later on that we can get different clothes from the in-game shop or from wild animons dropping them after battles, which in my opinion could really bring your own unique style to your custom character as you progress through the story going town to town. When you first start off your adventure, you'll be in your bedroom, but the town alarm is going off indicating everyone's in danger. But before we leave, just look at all these decorations we got: Ichigo on the bookshelf, Mihawk's sword behind your bed, and Majin Buu on the other shelf. A Frieza trash can with Sasuke hiding behind it. We have the Death Note chilling on the floor for anyone to take, Luffy sitting on the desk, and a poster of nothing, which is kind of odd. Now's the perfect time to do a giveaway. If you could be the first to comment all the other Easter eggs in this room, I'll be giving away a $25 Robux gift card. But before you do that, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button. I appreciate all my subscribers for continuing to watch and support my content. Alright, now we can get back into the story. Once you make it out of your house, we get a nice little cutscene with some dialogue, but most importantly we get to choose our first animon. We have 4 different options between Luffy, Majin Buu, Ichigo, and Sasuke. I decided way before I even had access to the game that I was going to choose Ichigo to start off with, and then found out soon after that he was the worst starter to choose. But that just means I have to try harder than everyone else to get better, which is basically every underdog anime out there. So I'm the MC if we're being honest. The first fight we have is one of those classic anime fights where we encounter someone way stronger than us but still try to fight them anyways, to eventually go on a whole journey to get stronger just to beat them after you were embarrassed the first time. The UI for the fights in my opinion looks really good for the style of turn-based gameplay. Kinda gives me that Persona vibe. Like I said before, we're losing this fight and nothing really too special since we don't have any other abilities besides Sword Slash. And like every monster catching, anime catching, it's basically anime slavery at this point. But after all your animon get knocked out in battle, you'll wake up back at the Animon Center. Thanks to the magical powers of anime, you magically spawn back at town. We have the healing machines, the PCs where you store animon, and then the shop to buy items. But yeah, after talking to him, I couldn't walk or talk to him again, so I just had to restart my game. I also forgot to mention you get 2 slots for free, at least for testing we did. It's nice to have other slots, but I don't really see the replayability for this game so far, besides getting a different starter to use. But it's not like the story will change or the animon you encounter. Now that we can walk, I tried to talk to him again, and this time I didn't get stuck. I opened up the shop menu and found potions and capsules for capturing more animon. I decided not to buy anything, seeing how I only started with $1,000. We can also look through the menu real quick. We don't have the Anidex yet, so we can't collect data on different animons. But we do have the squad option where we can see our current team with a breakdown of their stats, trait, and available skills to use. I didn't open the backpack, but it's basically just to see all your items you have. The customization tab is interesting, seeing all the different things you can customize, like your face, which I found out later was masks. There's hats, shirts, pants, and shoes. On top of that, there's costumes like the giant happy onesie I got later on, which covers up everything else you're wearing, by the way. You can change your backpacks and even belts. There's also one to change your mounts. I think the only one shown so far was the car, but there will definitely be more for us to all find when the game's finally released. There's going to also be emotes, banners, and titles in the future. The one thing that did bother me is after clicking into a category then clicking back, it takes you all the way to the main menu instead of going back to the previous page. Now that we're done with the basics, we can finally get to the game. I walked outside and had a quick chat with the professor, then met my rival Victor. Bro came flying down in a hot air balloon. The professor is also choosing favorites too, because he gave him a starter animon and it wasn't any of the ones that I got to choose from. But I did get some capsules to capture more animon and my ID, which officially makes me a professional animon trainer. My next objective was to leave town and head over to the first route. But before we do that, we have a couple of side quests we can complete before we leave. As I'm walking to the center of town, I see a wolf take off out of someone's house. Apparently he stole Jose's shorts, who hasn't done his laundry. I went inside to investigate the situation. Turns out Jose thinks I'm some kind of hero for losing to the main villain. But I won't complain because he's offering to pay me to get his shorts back. It's not much, but what can you expect from a guy that can't even afford to do his own laundry? But seeing how he thinks I'm a hero, I have to do this for the sake of my reputation. I go back outside to find Terry and I see him running in a straight line headed for the bridge. I sprint as fast as my body can physically go, but he's starting to get away. Other animon trainers are getting in the way, but good thing I can phase right through them. I'm starting to catch back up to Terry as he's making a sharp right turn, and then he stops to sit down to catch his breath. I get closer and pet Terry, and that leads to him handing over the shorts. I'm pretty sure he was just neglected by his owner, cause soon after, the anime gods take him and he vanishes like the Avatar. Now that we have the shorts back, the only thing left to do is to head back to Jose and deliver them for the reward. He wanted me to keep what just happened between us, but I'm pretty sure the whole town already knows because of how loud he was shouting. But the job is done and the hero prevails. I walked around a little bit to find another side quest, but ran into some unimportant side characters. One of them just bragged about how her daughter is such a great animon trainer, and if she was here the villain would have been defeated. And the other one just gives me a warning about some woods I'll see in the future. But then I run into a little wannabe Luffy NPC. He wanted me to feed some giant sea monster to keep the town safe. Being the hero of this town is really going to my head because I agreed to do it. But on my way to his dad's bait shop, I see the clothing store and decided to stop by. I talked to the Wish version of Bulma and she just said nice to meet you. I also talked to the businessman right next to her and he insults my clothing with his bland sarcasm. Then proceeded to ask me how many rooms my house had, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was a quiz, so I said 2. Apparently that was a real joke to him and he gave me some pocket change is what he called it. But bro gave me 350, so I'm not gonna complain if he wants to donate to my journey. I decided to go inside to see what new clothes I could buy. There was a lot of different options on display, so I go to the front desk to buy a new fit and see only the starter clothes are available. I wasted enough time in this backwater town and I could see why the rich dude was making fun of this shop. I get back on track to find that kid's dad. Lucky for me, the bait shop is right across from the tailor, so I didn't have to go far. I have a quick chat with him and he explains that the monster comes back every few months looking for food. He's about to tell me how I can be the next one to feed it, but it shows up sooner than he thought and he gives me a piece of meat to take back. His son is probably in danger, so I get back to the bridge as fast as I can. I get there just in time and chuck the meat right at its mouth and it catches it. Little Luffy admires me for being strong and gives me some good information about it living at the top of the waterfall, which means I'll be able to catch him one day. For now, the town hero prevails and it's time to head over to the next side quest. But before that, let's admire my Ichigo falling down an infinite void. If we're being honest, he deserves it for being weak. Now it's time for the last side quest in this town. It's not hard, but kind of annoying because the giant mess. The first thing I do is head over to the librarian to see what happened, but she offers to quiz me on animon because she thinks I'm new or something. She hasn't heard that I'm somewhat of a hero in these parts, so I guess free money doesn't hurt. I accept and get to the first question of the quiz. I'm basically supposed to tell her what type is super effective to the animon she describes. Now you can read the whole paragraph or you can just look at the end and it says neutral type, which is basically normal type from Pokemon, so it would obviously be weak to fighting. Now the hard part was going to be finding the book and all this mess, but to my surprise the game was shut down for an update, so I had to log back in. Now that we're back, I can save you guys the trouble for when you guys have to do this quest yourself and just show you guys the books in order. Hopefully it doesn't change for you guys and the order is always the same, but even then you wouldn't have to look for them. The fighting book is going to be right when you walk in the library sitting on the bookshelf. The next question was what type beats fire, and that's probably the easiest one because that's always going to be water, which is right next to the librarian. After that she asked me what can beat water type, and luckily we saw the electric book before I disconnected. It's gonna be past the librarian in the corner. The fourth question is what can beat fighting, which is psychic type, and that book is also in the beginning close to the fighting book. It's sitting on the front counter, at least what's left of it. And the final question is what can defeat nature type, which is pretty much grass type, so that would be fire, which is going to be next to the water book. Now that this tedious quiz is over, we can finally collect our reward. At least that's what I thought, but instead this half-baked librarian decided to challenge me to a battle with their level 2 happy, aka joyful. Even with the minor level gap, my Ichigo takes her animon out with 3 sword slashes, and also leveled up to level 6, so that's at least a positive. After the battle, she's gonna talk about, I said I was a trainer before, but I didn't say I was a strong one. Like bro, your animon is level 2 and you didn't even try. I just started 15 minutes ago and I'm already known as a hero of this town and my animon's level 6. Like come on now, do better with your life. But she did give me a happy furry cosplay that I will not be wearing anytime soon. But now that we're done with that, I can finally leave this town and really start my journey. But before we get into any more excitement, you'll have to wait for the next episode of Pocket Anime. I hope you guys stick around to follow my journey through Route 1, and hopefully we all get to see the next town. But for now, that's it for this episode of Pocket Anime. So as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, comment down below if you'd like me to continue these types of videos for the rest of the tests that will happen in the future for Pocket Anime. And most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell notification. It'll inform you guys when I drop videos like these so you can be the first ones to see them. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.